Amidst deepening insecurity in the country, President Buhari flew to his country home in Daura, Katsina State for a vacation. As a way of welcoming Mr. President back home, bandits in the state who have been in the habit of terrorizing, extorting and kidnapping residents for a ransom decided to pull the grandest abduction in the history of Nigeria. They stormed a nearby government science secondary school in Kankara and dared to kidnap over 344 schoolboys. After 6 days of worry from the schoolboys' parents, promises from the federal and state governments, and Nigerians protesting their release with the hashtag #BringBackOurBoys, the 344 Kankara schoolboys were finally rescued. Shockingly, instead of Nigerians to celebrate their release, the government came under heavy criticism over the suspicious way the schoolboys were rescued and the conflicting reports on their release. Many have tagged the government rescue mission a scam and accused them of arranging the schoolboys' kidnap to gain cheap political scores and embezzle public funds. So, why are Nigerians suspicious and so disgusted of the Kankara boys' rescue reports? Hello guys, it's T-Code here for African Gleeds. Kankara boys' abduction. On Friday, December 11, 2020, shockwaves, worry and fear were sent down the spines of Nigerians as top media organizations simultaneously reported that over 500 schoolboys were abducted from government science boarding school in Kankara, Katsina State just hours after Mr. President arrived to the state for a vacation. According to credible media, hundreds of armed men riding motorbikes had stormed the school around 11 p.m., shot into the air multiple times to scare the young boys, rounded up as many boys as they could and led them into the surrounding forests. One of the kidnapped schoolboys would later escape and explain to BBC that they were beaten, threatened and forced to walk throughout the night to an unknown destination. Initially, the number of schoolboys kidnapped left many confused as some reports read 400, some 600, and one report from the presidential spokesman, Garba Shehu, insisted only 10 boys were kidnapped. The Defense Headquarters spokesman, John Eneche, would later state that 344 boys were unaccounted for, leaving another puzzle. Who kidnapped the boys? According to the Defense Headquarters, bandits popular for terrorizing residents of Katsina State kidnapped the boys and were demanding a ransom for their release. But it won't be long before Boko Haram, a jihadist terrorist group responsible for kidnapping Chibok girls in 2014, claimed responsibility. In a video sent out by their leader, Abubakar Shekau,
Dan Allah, you have to dissolve any gang of vigilantes, close any kind of schools, excluding Islamia.
Shine za a gada ma gwamnan Katsina.
One of the abducted schoolboys pleaded with the government to meet the demand of the group, including scrapping vigilante groups and closing all schools in the state except Islamic schools. The boy, who spoke in both Hausa and English, then pleaded with the government to recall soldiers trailing and attempting to rescue them. Amidst all this happening, the president faced heavy backlash for refusing to visit the school where the boys were kidnapped despite his presence in the state. That's not all. Nigerians clamored for the president and his service chief's resignation over their incompetence and ineptitude towards insecurity in the country. Alongside, Nigerians protested for the release of the Kankara schoolboys with the hashtag #BringBackOurBoys. Kankara boys release. 6 days after the Kankara boys kidnapped, precisely on December 14, which coincidentally was the 78th birthday of President Buhari, the governor of Katsina State, Aminu Masari, in a press conference announced the release of the schoolboys. He said they were rescued at Safe in Zamfara State and handed over to security agents. The rescued boys looked very dirty, tired, and said they were fed with bread and cassava by their kidnappers and would later be transported back to Kankara, medically examined by doctors and given a change of clothes. That's not all. The schoolboys, who should be handed over to their parents and guardians, were forced to gather in a hall to meet with the president, who seemingly was using their release for cheap publicity on his campaign to secure the life and properties of Nigerians. Making matters worse, President Buhari told the scared schoolboys to return to school as their abduction was a test of character and their determination to succeed in life. Suspicions on their release and Nigerians' reactions. Amidst news of the Kankara boys' release and their meeting with the president, Nigerians who should be in celebration mood plunged instead into suspicion mood. This is coming after conflicting reports on the schoolboys began to rent the internet space and Nigerians began noticing several things amiss about the Kankara boys' release. In an interview with the German radio station, the governor of Katsina State, Aminu Masari, stated that no ransom was paid for the schoolboys' release, rather their release was facilitated at no fee by the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, MACBAN, who engaged with the bandits on behalf of the government. The defense headquarters, on the other hand, said they rescued the boys without any help. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, further confused Nigerians when he stated that the Kankara boys were rescued with the help of foreigners and at the directive of the president. These conflicting reports has raised suspicions that the government is lying. Pan-Yoruba Socio-Cultural Group Afenifere called the rescue of the Kankara boys a big scam and said it's impossible. The government couldn't have secured the schoolboys' release without paying a ransom. Nigerians have also grown suspicious that the government knows the sponsors and members of the Boko Haram terrorist group and bandits terrorizing the country, judging from the fact that they claim to have paid no ransom yet made no arrest in conjunction with the Kankara boys' kidnap. Referring to the way NSAS protesters were traced, persecuted and even killed at the Lekki toll gate, Nigerians concluded that the President Buhari administration is geared towards promoting terrorism and insecurity in the state rather than good governance. That's not all. Many have called out the government for not only negotiating with criminals but doing so using a northern private organization instead of a government agency. Is the present administration a government of the people of Nigeria or the North? Why are you negotiating with criminals yet refused to have a peaceful talk with NSAS protesters? Many asked. Also, Nigerians are suspicious of the swift negotiation and release of the Kankara boys. This is because it took months to secure the release of some of the Chibok girls kidnapped in 2014 by Boko Haram. This is not forgetting that the present administration is still yet to secure the release of the remainder of the girls. For this reason, many have concluded that the president planned the kidnap of the Kankara boys and chose to release them on his birthday to show citizens and the international community that his administration is competent in handling insecurity issues. Further supporting claims that the government is responsible for the schoolboys' kidnap, Nigerians cited the conflicting uniform the schoolboys were wearing following their release and later marching outfits that they wore to meet the president. Because many Nigerians are distrusting of the present administration, some people have concluded that the government planned Kankara boys' kidnap for an avenue to embezzle public funds. Leaving no detail out, conspiracy theorists on Twitter believe the Nigerian government allegedly paid 4 billion euros as a ransom for the Kankara boys' release and also allegedly agreed to release 3 members of the Boko Haram sect in government custody. As Nigerian government tries to use the Kankara boys' abduction and release to gain cheap credit that they are working hard to eradicate insecurity challenges in the country, Nigerians have refused to praise them. Rather, they hung them out to dry with suspicions of the schoolboys' kidnap. You kidnapped them and you released them. Stop lying to us. The Kankara schoolboys only went on a vacation or field trip. They were never kidnapped. The Kankara boys were kidnapped by the government and presented on the president's birthday as his gift to Nigerians. Is all Nigerians have been chanting on social media. So guys, what do you think about the Kankara boys' abduction and the suspicions surrounding their release? Do you think that the government is not being honest about paying any ransom for the Kankara boys' release? Lastly, do you think the government planned the schoolboys' kidnap for an avenue to embezzle public funds? Let us know what you think in the comment section down below. If you found this video informative, please give it a like and share. Don't forget to check out our channel for more interesting African stories and news we know you'll like. Subscribe to get notifications whenever we drop a new juicy video to keep you updated. Thanks for watching and see you on our next one.